It's funny, I always imagined cycling heaven to have better roads, and cycling hell, well, I always imagined that to be considerably warmer. Truth be told, I don't know quite where I am at the moment. Right now, outside, the weather is actually pretty nice. It's clear blue skies, sunny, and virtually no wind, so pretty much ideal cycling conditions. But then it's also extremely cold. Right now, the temperature outside is -2 degrees Celsius, and as such, that is just way too cold for me personally to get out and ride a bike. Now, I know some people would consider clear blue skies, sunny, no wind cycling heaven, but for me, the very cold conditions kind of represent that ironic cycling hell where it's really nice to look at, but for some reason you just can't go out and enjoy it. Now, having said that, I haven't been lazy and sat on my arse for weeks on end. I have actually been out and done some cycling. I'm here kind of towards the end of January, and the beginning of the month I did go out and do some rides actually out on the road. Back then the weather was considerably warmer. It was about 11-12 degrees Celsius, but it was also very wet and very windy. But nevertheless, I kind of put some wet weather gear on, and I braved the rain and I braved the wind, and I did some reasonably short rides, so 10-15 kilometers or so. And then when it hasn't been wet and windy, it's just been really, really cold. And for those days, I've been out sat on the turbo trainer in the garage, and it's been so cold, I've even had to wear long bottomed cycling shorts and long sleeved cycling tops to stay warm out there. Needless to say, I haven't been using the fan at all. And that way I've been getting some rides in and ticking off the days of my 23 days of cycling challenge. Now, if you haven't been watching the channel recently, you may not know that back at the beginning of January, I launched a 23 days cycling challenge, and we're kind of about 14 days through on that. We've got another 7 days to go, so the challenge ends on the 1st of February, and we've had about 30 people sign up, and so far everybody's been really good at kind of doing the rides and taking part in the challenge. I've been very, very impressed with quite a lot of the people on there. Many of them are based here in the UK, and they've had exactly the same weather that I've had, but some of them are out in the US, and there's one particular chap, I think Mark, out there in Canada, who's riding in some absolutely torturous cycling conditions. He showed me the temperature graph this afternoon, and it was a daytime temperature coming up of -19 degrees Celsius, and then the following day it was going to be -21 degrees Celsius. So yeah, if I can't handle -2 degrees Celsius, then I'm sure as hell can't handle -19 or -21 degrees Celsius. But I think Mark's going out and doing it, so kudos to you there, Mark. And yeah, I think for me, I'm just going to look forward to the times here when the weather will improve. I can see on the forecast that the warmer weather is going to come, and by warmer I mean just slightly warmer. It's going to go up to, I think, about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, which means that the ice that's out and about at the moment will have melted, and the conditions will be a little bit safer to ride. And apart from me not being able to ride in the cold just from a clothing point of view, the main reason why I really do not want to go out and cycle at the moment is because I'm just hearing about so many people slipping on ice and doing themselves an injury. Over the last week or so, I've heard of 4 people who've fallen off in the ice. One person broke his hip and another person broke her wrist. So yeah, you really do not want to have an accident like that, because it will keep you off the bike for quite a while. And also, if you have an accident like that while you're on your own in a fairly isolated little back country lane, then yeah, I think it's going to be very, very painful and very, very difficult to get somebody to come and rescue you, like an ambulance or a family member or something like that. So I think for me at the moment, discretion is the better part of valour, and I'm going to stick to doing my rides on the turbo trainer, and hopefully when the weather improves, I'll be going out and doing a lot more rides on the road. A little while ago, one of my subscribers said to me that if I can see grass on the ground, then I'm a very lucky boy, at least as far as cycling goes. And again, I think this was somebody who was based in Canada, where they have snow on the ground for 4 or 5 months and probably won't see grass again until probably about April, I would imagine. And again, I do realise just how lucky I am living here in the UK, where it never gets desperately cold in the winter time. At the moment, this -2 is about as cold as it gets under normal circumstances. And normally, weather here in the UK, or weather here at least in the winter time, is very, very mild indeed. Typically we could have like a 12°C kind of day, and on days like that, if it's not chucking it down with rain, then riding is actually rather pleasant, providing that you wrap up warm enough. You can go out and you can do a normal day's ride. And I know also that the better weather is on the way, so it's only going to be about another 2 months maybe before it really starts warming up, and we get some much drier conditions, and cycling will be an absolute pleasure. Yeah, I know that doing endless turbo training sessions in the garage and riding endless loops around Watopia on Zwift isn't ideal, but I am counting my blessings. I do understand how fortunate I am to have that facility. I know some people don't have that, and they have no choice but to go out and ride actually on the road, regardless of the weather conditions. And to those people, I say, well, kudos to you. You're a lot braver than I am. Thanks for watching.